Anthony Joshua has a boxing identity crisis. He's suffering from that. I say this because in the last few years, we've seen AJ adapt his style for different opponents. Like, it's not the same AJ that we had 2013 to 2017, you know? The AJ that fought against Dillian Whyte, Vladimir Klitschko. Even though he got dropped in that fight against Klitschko, still got back up from the canvas and was able to go on and stop Klitschko in emphatic fashion. Once he lost against Andy Ruiz, it's as if he just became gun shy, man. It wasn't the same AJ no more. It wasn't the AJ who was a destroyer, who was sick and destroy. You know, the predator. He became gun shy. He didn't want to engage. All of a sudden, even a jab will shake him up. You know what I mean? A big right hand from the opponent. AJ just couldn't take a punch no more. You know, he'll be on Bambi legs. And he's got a fight coming up this Saturday on the 25th of July against Christian Pringa. They're calling it the fight before the fight. We already know if AJ, I'll say if, yeah, because I still have slight doubts. AJ should win this fight against Christian Pringa. I mean, listen, Christian Pringa, good fighter. He's got 21 bouts, 20 wins, 20 knockouts here. And I'm going to show you let me just show you his resume here. Listen, on paper, Christian Pringa looks like a decent opponent. Yeah, that's on paper. But if you actually comb through his resume, not many names actually stand out there, if any. I'm just keeping it real. So AJ really should be able to take care of business come Saturday the 25th. If he can't take care of business against Christian Pringa, then he might as well just hang up the gloves because it's over. Now, I'm looking at AJ's social media. Well, this is Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn posted these pictures, I think, early on today. AJ's looking in tremendous shape. He's looking real good, ripped up, looking lean, you know, looking really good. But I want to ask you an honest question. Does anybody actually know which AJ we're going to get come Saturday, the 25th, against Christian Pringa? Like, are we going to get the destroyer or are we going to get AJ the boxer? Does anybody actually know? Because AJ hasn't been able to lock down his style. Do you know what I mean? He has not been able to lock down his style for the last 7 years. He just hasn't been able to. He's always adapting, depending on the opponent. And what hasn't helped AJ's cause is the fact that he's been switching and changing coaches more than his underwear. I mean, that is not helpful. Like, I'm just going to read out the list of the different coaches that AJ has had in the last few years. Yep. So we know he was with Rob McCracken right in the beginning. Then he moved on to Robert Garcia. Then he went to Derek James. Then Ben Davison. I mean, all these coaches that I've just mentioned all have their own different philosophies. They all have their own different styles. Like, I'm an amateur boxing coach. And I have my philosophy. I have my style on how a coach fights. You know, so when you go from coach to coach, guess what? They're going to try and implement their styles on you. They're going to try and, you know, put their methods on you. And that, as a fighter, it does not help you. It does not help you. Listen, sometimes a change of coach, a change of environment, scenery, does help fighters, you know? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for fighters to change coaches, change gyms, whatever. Listen, whatever makes you happy. We've seen recently Daniel Dubois. He moved to Tony Sims, right? He went over to Ireland, Tony Sims, then came right back to Don Charles. Why? Because maybe the environment, maybe the coaching just wasn't for him. And Daniel Dubois managed to come back and get a win over Fabio Wardley. Emphatic win. So sometimes you might think, oh, the grass is green on the other side, but really and truly, just staying put, staying with the same coach, making little adjustments, small little tweaks might actually enhance your performance, enhance your skills, your boxing ability, you know? So AJ switching coaches, constantly changing coaches from Rob McCracken, Robert Garcia, Derek James, Ben Davis. Like, listen, sometimes, yeah, you can get lost in the sauce yourself as a fighter. You know, that's what I'm saying. AJ suffers from a boxing identity crisis. I'm not talking from a personal point of view. No, I'm talking in terms of boxing. Because what is your style? After you take from here, you take from there. There's too much information. You know, that's why we haven't been able to see AJ perform the same way he was performing early on because it keeps changing coaches. After the Andy Ruiz defeat, we saw Anthony Joshua be a bit more pragmatic, become a boxer, try to become a bit more slick, fighting behind the jab. He worked in a rematch against Andy Ruiz. He got the win. But after that, he actually worked against him when he went in against Usyk. When he went in against Usyk, tried to box Usyk, what happened? He got his head boxed. Do you know what I mean? He got absolutely outclassed against Alexander Usyk. That's because Anthony Joshua didn't have no identity in terms of his boxing. What he needed to be against Alexander Usyk is to be the original AJ, the destroyer, seek and destroy. Using his power, his size, strength, reach to impose himself on the smaller fighter who's Usyk. I know, listen, Usyk is the greatest heavyweight of this era. It's not easy. Even Tyson Fury wasn't able to overcome Alexander Usyk. So, do you know what I mean? Alexander Usyk is a great. Yeah, I'm not saying that if AJ came in there being, using his physicality, his athleticism, power, he's just moving to Usyk, he would have got the job done. Usyk is a bit more clever than that, but he would have given himself a better chance. When he tried to box with Usyk, you're fighting into Usyk's game plan. This is bread and butter for Usyk. He's been boxing since he was in kindergarten. Do you know what I mean? So AJ, he's made a lot of mistakes along the way, tried to make changes, move to different coaches, and it just hasn't worked out. Which AJ are we going to see against Christian Pringa? That's the question, because now I see him with Usyk. We see Anthony Joshua. He went out there in Ukraine. He's been training with Usyk, some of Usyk's coaches. We've seen him doing the whole, Rocky with Usyk, running on the beach. You know what I mean? Like just training with Usyk. Now, what age are we going to get? Are we going to get an AJ that tries to box like Usyk? Have the same reflexes as Usyk? Head movement as Usyk? Do you know what I mean? Same jab as Usyk? Like, which AJ are we going to get? Is AJ, by constantly moving around, constantly switching coaches, is it actually making things harder for himself? Is it confusing himself? Because if I ask you, how does Terence Crawford fight? You already know the identity of Terence Crawford. If I ask you, how does Mayweather fight? We already know how Mayweather fight. Pacquiao. If I ask you how Tyson Fury fights, you know. Boots Ennis, you know how these guys fight. Andy Ruiz, you know. If I ask you how does Caballero fight, we already know the style and identity of Caballero, Daniel Dubois. These fighters have a clear identity and they stick to it. They might make little tweaks here and there. Depending on the opponent, they might make little tweaks, but they stay true to their identity. Win, lose, or draw, they stay true to themselves. Because what's the point of giving up your strengths, making yourself weaker, depending on the opponents? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I really hope like my message is coming through. If not, if you're not getting it, let me know in the comments. Like, am I making sense or not? Like, for me, use your strengths because nobody's better than you. Like, no one knows you better than yourself. And I feel like sometimes some coaches make mistakes where they try to implement their style of coaching and they try to change fighters too much. Like, sometimes when a fighter comes to you, you identify their strengths, you just work on it to strengthen them. Not take away all their strengths and then try and make them something that they're not. Because I just feel like some of these coaches, like the Ben Davis and the Robert Garcia, listen, maybe I've missed the other coaches, yeah? Apologies if I've missed out any other coaches that AJ trained with, yeah? But I feel like they were trying to make Anthony Joshua into somebody that he's not and never will be. Joshua was athletic. He's still athletic, even at the tender age of 36, 37. He's athletic, raw power. He's a destroyer. He goes out there. He just has to be brutal, man. I don't know why they try to turn Anthony Joshua into a boxer when it never suited him, because it's just, for me, he just never had the footwork for it. Do you know what I mean? He's never had the hand speed for it. He's never had the ring IQ for it. Age is just one of those raw fighters, very good fundamentals, boxing fundamentals. Of course, he won the gold medal at the Olympics. Yeah, but he's not an Usyk. He's not a slick fighter like a Tyson Fury. He's just not those guys. His boxing IQ is not at that level. He's done really well to become unified heavyweight champion, to get to where he is, win Olympic gold medal, like I just mentioned. Everything he's achieved, he's done really well. But he's done it by just being that destroyer, man. That's how AJ has done it. When you try to make him a boxer, that just confused the hell out of him. That's why if you watch the Usyk fights, AJ just didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? He was confused, like there was puzzles in front of him that he just couldn't solve, man. Just couldn't solve. And I really hope for Anthony Joshua in this fight against Christian Pringa, he's looking leaner, he's looking good, in good shape. I know working with Alexander Usyk, the conditioning is going to be tip top. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be in the best conditioning, physio, cardio, everything's going to be top shape, yeah? I just want to see Anthony Joshua be on a front foot against Christian Pringa. I want to see him seek and destroy, get rid of this guy in 4 to 5 rounds, man. If Anthony Joshua goes in there and is timid, gun shy, doesn't want to let his hands go, even if he wins against Christian Pringa, but then he's one of those where he's cut up, he's bleeding, it doesn't look good, I mean, there's going to be a lot of doubters going into the fight against Tyson Fury at the end of the year. In fact, I will make Tyson Fury favorite for that fight. Because Anthony Joshua, we already know what happened. He fought against Jake Paul. Then the accident, tragic accident happened in Nigeria, you know, where he lost 2 of his close friends. So psychologically, none of us know where he is right now. We don't know that. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. We don't know which Joshua's going to turn up. But for his sake, I really hope AJ, being around Usyk, he has rediscovered that form that he had early on. You know, like I said, between 2013 to 2017, the guy was just destroying everybody. I really hope he's got that confidence mentally. He looks like he's in a good place. He's overcome a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, tragedy in his life in the last year. I really hope he goes in there and shows and proves and shows what he's capable of. You know, I don't want to see a timid AJ, gun-shy AJ who doesn't want to let his hands go. Because listen, mate, if he looks bad, mate, worst case scenario, Christian Pringa pulls it out the bag and knocks out AJ or wins on point, mate. That is it, mate. Forget it. Game over. Forget the Fury fight. I know they've already signed the contracts and both guys are ready to fight each other at the end of the year. You can forget it because there will be no appetite from the boxing fans for that fight. Nobody wants to see that. So for AJ's sake, he has to get the win. It's not just about him winning. It's about how he goes about getting that win. It has to be emphatic. It has to be impressive. He has to be brutal. He has to go out there, get the knockout, man. Not this Mr. trying to box shit. Nah, we don't want to see that. We want to see AJ, the destroyer. I'm going to leave it at that, my people. I will be doing a live watch along for that fight on the 25th of July. So come back on this channel. You know what I mean? Come with me for the live commentary as well. My people, I hope you enjoyed this take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm really interested to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. Please don't forget to smash the likes. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.